Hello, and welcome back to the next episode in our Pillars of Eternity campaign, playing as Casemir the Cipher. So we have just returned the lost shipment to Tuatanu, the smith at the Black Hammer Smithery, and we now have two options as to what we can do next. Number one, we can head on to Caed to find Merewald the Watcher. Or number two, we can go down to Anslok's Compass to find Mother Ranga for Alfra. I'm inclined to head on to Caed, so I think perhaps we'll do that after we head to the inn and rest. Before I do that, let's just quickly sort out our inventory here, which is a little bit of a mess. Just move some things around. Try to get it in order. And we'll put, I think we'll equip some of the scrolls and everything as well into quick slots. Hang on to the pry bar. Okay. Oh, I can just shift click and that puts it in the stash. Well, that's useful to know. Is that right? If I take a Zorup Spear... Yep, shift click puts it into the stash. Alright, let's sort from high to low cell value as well. And let's equip some stuff into quick slots. So, I've got beer, which I probably don't need. What would be more useful for me? Maybe the Fan of Flame scrolls, although... Scroll of Tanglefoot. Maybe I'll take those. For Adair, let's give him the potions and the Spirit Shield ones, because they do damage reduction. Eldritch Aim, I guess we'll give to Aloth. Fan of Flames we'll give to Durance. We'll give the Ray of Fire to Aloth as well. Adair can take some Ale, because that's also +2 damage reduction. And maybe some Milk, because that's +6 Endurance and 1 Constitution. Aloth, what can I give you? If anything here. I don't think there's anything super useful for him. Maybe I can give that to Aloth as well. That all looks fine otherwise. I'll give those potions to Durance. And yeah, I think that's all we can do on that regard. Now, weapons. So we've got the Disappointer, which does pierce damage. And then we've got a Rapier and Stiletto, which also both do pierce damage. We probably want to diversify our weapons a little bit. In other words, we don't want to have all of our weapons do pierce damage. So... maybe we'll... See, that does slash damage. I don't have anything that does... Oh, I've got a Quarterstaff that does crush damage and has increased reach. That might be better to use. This does slash and crush damage. Pierce damage. Pierce and crush. Slash and pierce. I don't have any one-handed weapons that just do crush damage, do I? Oh, I've got a mace. 3 damage reduction bypass. Or I could get the fine sword and fine dagger. I don't know what it means when it's slash and or pierce. I'm not sure which one takes priority. I presume it's the one that has the least amount of its damage being resisted. So if the target has high pierce damage, then it will do slash damage instead, or vice versa. I could be wrong about that. Maybe we'll go mace. Actually, you know what? We'll do saber and dagger. Yeah, still looks kind of piratical, but at least it's a diverse damage type from the gun. Unfortunately, no ranged weapons other than, you know, wands and scepters. No ranged weapons do slash or crush damage, but as far as I'm aware anyway. But that's okay. For Aloth, we've got crush and slash and pierce and crush, so that's probably fine. Yeah, that's fine. For Adair, we've got crush damage there, and then he's got a ranged warbow, which probably will never use, so let's give him slash and pierce and the large shield. Because unfortunately, I don't think if you leave, yeah, it switches. It's a shame he can't just switch to the sword and keep using the larder door. So we'll put the large shield in there if we ever need to switch him, switch his weapon set for some reason. And for Durance, his quarterstaff is pretty good. He's also got a rod that does pierce and slash, but I think that's fine. We'll leave him on the staff. It's quite a good weapon. Alright, do we have anything else we can give? I don't have any Brigandine armor. I do have mail armor though. I think we'll give grant second chance on unconscious, 1 per rest. I don't find that useful, to be honest. Like, he comes up, but he comes up on such low health that it almost isn't worthwhile. Whereas we could give him this. The freeze damage reduction is good though. So that has 9 damage reduction overall, but it has extra slash DR but lower crush DR. I guess we'll leave him with his Saint's armor for the moment until we find something better. Is there anything else that might be worthwhile handing out? I think not really. Oh yeah, I should check as well. 2 perception, 2 dexterity. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, I think that's all we can do for now. Now we could try craft some stuff. There's food we can make. Some of it's not terrible. There's also potions. Bulwark against the elements, that's not bad. Potion of iron skin. Until hit or critically hit. I wish it was until critically hit, because until hit is like, it just doesn't, it's not that useful. I feel like it's not that useful anyway for the cost. 25% attack speed's not bad. Alright, we can't really create any higher level. Scroll of Rolling Flame. That's okay. Minor endurance, prayer against fear, nature's mark, foe AoE, that's not bad. Minus 10 deflection. Yeah, okay, alright. Well, nothing that I want right now, but we'll keep it in mind. Let's speak to Durance. Your face is full of need, Durance snorts. It looks to burst if you didn't speak. Questions I wanted to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skidding your knuckles on the wrong door.
I want to ask about the region and its history. Okay, actually I've done all of those, so let me ask you about something else.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
Tell me about Magrin. Oh, you know her. You must. He gives a bitter chuckle. Then his tone evens out. She's a many-headed bitch. What is your view on Magrin?
She's a goddess, as fickle as they come. And with all the failings you'd expect of an empress and a whore. Too many eyes, too many wants, too much to hold on to. That's the failing of a god. More aspects than words to describe her, like most of them. A god with many nations to oversee, only serves to spread herself too thin.
He snorts, and frowns and scratches at his face. Her clergy share the same failings. Like I said, a god with many nations to oversee, only serves to spread herself too thin. Although the flame rarely crosses twice, so perhaps that is the only truth she embraces. Who knows? Gods get greedy. When it comes to fire, fire is a god's hunger. What are her aspects anyway? Durance begins to count on his fingers, chanting it off. War transforms, fire consumes, trials purify. Warfare, fire, consuming, purification, and most of all, transforming. Trials as well, but all things are put to the test anyway. A trial can consume, purify, transform. They are all linked, although at its heart is the flame, and the flame is what matters. It is the source of all things. Guess they should have started with that, eh? Any fool around a campfire knows that. Without flames, fire, we would have made little progress in the dark. To hear some of the inner fires tell it around the hearth and bellows, even in the halls of Ashfall, you'd think that fire brought life to man, and that fire was Magrin. Some of the older texts say she rubbed her hands together and they burst into flame. Or another god shafted her like a poker. There are different perspectives on her then? He grunts. Mine is only one sight among many. Durance frowns, pauses, and his eyes take on an eager gleam. But here's one. I can speak to how the losing side sees her, and that should tell you enough. Let me speak to what an Adiran sees. All right, what does an Adiran see? The Adirans have a proper, polite translation for her. Excellence in war, tactical discipline, he snorts. That's why they lost the fucking colony, of course. They were properly still quoting that, while we had them bent across the decks. All their guns and cannon fire are fine, but useless when your staff is cracking light into their skulls, dispensing red gifts left and right. Durance's fists tighten, and he laughs. Adirans call that elevation, divine awareness. Those words are as welcome as shit on one's boots, and that's all they took back with them while they were running. He shakes his head. A lesson learned at the wrong time. Almost feel a pang of sympathy for them. Almost. Lesson? What do you mean? The title of a god isn't knowing a god. Adhering to words rather than walking the path. Testing yourself in the heat of it. Walk until the words are stripped away, and you feel it burning in your heart. That is the lesson. That Adiran politeness, that pretty adherence to the word of Scripture as they saw it, that burned their ships, scarred them, kept them running throughout the Deerwood campaign. He snorts. Divine awareness. There's no true faith in waiting to be tested. The best in battle have already shit themselves plenty, shit themselves until they're dry and can focus on the killing. Alright, I've got other questions about Magrin.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
I fear you may not like the heat by the fire, Watcher, but if you can bear it, then I will tell you what I know. Does she have any allies?
Some, shaped for hunt and war. Abidan the Golem, Galawain and his beasts. The latter keeps us honest and awake. The other makes the tools by which we punish those who are not.
He pauses, his finger scratching at a pock scar at his cheek, and then Durance lets his free hand form a double grip on his staff. Abaddon, I'm not familiar with Abaddon. Not surprised you haven't heard. More gods than weeds in a field, and those are only the ones of this lifetime. They come and go, but are always here at the same time. Abaddon used to look human, Durance grunts. Got killed, then built a new body for himself. Transformation. With Magrin's help. Perhaps she needed her own blacksmith to tend the fires. If so, Abaddon serves it. Durance frowns. He's a weapon, a tool, not a god in my mind. Still, the people of Deerwood, the cities especially, hold him dear. So be it. Although if the reward for hard work and craftsmanship is a body like his, I'll keep my blood and my cock and hips to thrust it with. You also mentioned Galawain? Monster Father, the great hound. And as for monsters, this world has quite a bit, and not just the ones on two legs. It's as if he's made monsters solely to hunt them, to remind men of their place. He's busy making more, I suspect. More monsters than sense. Variation upon variation. What do you mean? His aspects are a confusing bunch, and considering he respects reversals of fortune, especially in beasts, perhaps not so confusing? No reason why Magrin and he share a bed in my eyes, even if he does believe in the trial. A filthy Orlan god in many ways, howling and mewling perhaps like they do. They can keep their beasts. I'll take fire and weapons any day. I wanted to ask you something else about Magrin. Stare too long into the fire, you might blind yourself, Watcher. He chuckles. That, and touching yourself might do the same. Who are her enemies?
Before, when you asked about allies, well now, ally, enemy, that's a skin's edge of difference in history's eye. But there were enemies.
After letting out a laugh, the mirth leaves his face, and he sneers. Aothus. Durance gives a cold grin, nods. But we sorted that out. Then Hylia, and her queen's crown of feathers and birds. He sneers. Perhaps she claims to see the world from her perch. I hope she saw what happened to Aothus, and if she dares to walk upon an earth where such fire runs. Her temples are things of windows and twittering music. If a bird falls, know that it's a victory. Seeing another set of darting eyes from that feathered bitch die is a pleasure to me. You bear her a lot of rage. She and her clergy offer shelter to the Aethosian since his death, his humiliation. She's next for me. Alright, I want to ask you something else about Magrin. Gods, you are swelling with questions. One would think you were with child, or burning up inside. Actually, I've asked you all I can about Magrin.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
I would like to know about you. He grunts. Where are you from?
Where I hail from? From one of Magrin's fires. A cathedral. Ashfall. Made of blackened trees.
Durance sighs, his hand tightening on the staff for a moment, then relaxes.
I studied the scriptures there. The fires carved into the land. The trunks of the burnt trees. And in the factories where the rifles and cartridges were shaped. All are chapels in other devotions.
What do you mean, other devotions? Durance nods. For Magrin, any fire is enough for worship, physical or not. A blacksmith's anvil, a craftsman's bench, all arenas where fire is waiting to be born. Durant snaps his finger. It just needs a spark, like an alchemical fire, or a spark to cartridges to speed them to their purpose. Their purpose? Durant tilts his head, thinking. Well, their purpose then. It was many thens ago. Durant scratches his beard. Beard was a little brighter than now. But yes, cartridges, guns, all had a purpose, and that purpose was punching holes in mages and letting their pompous air hiss out. Durance gives a half smile, then a nod. Woke their kind right up and kept them staring at the ceiling in the dark instead of sleeping, that's for certain. Aloth rolls his eyes. Pompous air indeed. A little violence is an accounting, an answer for unchecked power. Well, Magrin gave an answer for that. Magrin put soldiers and mages on equal footing. Durance nods again. Mages were troublesome in that time. Firearms made every man a mage, and a caster's pretty arcane shield was little match for them. It turned each commoner into a beast that could spit fire. It leveled the field of battle, that's for certain. Made many a mage a grave. Tell me more about Ashfall. Are you a servant of Whale? Let mysteries and questions remain with him, at least until the next time we need rest. Okay, fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
Alright, let's carry on. Head to the inn now and rest up. Then maybe we'll ask Durance about Ashfall. Magrin's citadel or temple, I think, from the sounds of it.
Welcome.
Alright, so one thing as well we're going to do, we're going to head up to the Gilded Vale.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
Yes, we will do that. Not Gilded Vale, we're in the Gilded Vale. We're going to head up to Valewood and we're going to pick up those camping supplies that I'd left in that crate up there. And then I think we'll make our way to Cardnua. There it is. Actually, let's speak to Durance. Thought I filled your eyes on me. Now come the words. Yep, I've got questions.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skidding your knuckles on the wrong door.
I want to know more about you. Yeah, tell me more about Ashfall. Durance grunts. You're more curious about it than most of Magrin's faithful. Well, what else can you tell me about it? What more to tell? Durance frowns, his hand tightening on his staff again, his fingers seeming to sink into the wood. It is one of the greatest fires of Magrin, the high seat, he shrugs. Some say the blackest, not of evil, but of ash, all that remains after fire has fed. He pauses. I called it a cathedral before. That's not the full truth of it. It's more a battlefield. It lies in the heart of the War of Black Trees, its timbers built from the burned forest there, each timber blessed by fire, and one of Magrin's greatest battles. Many of us helped shape the war effort there, with flames and firearms. What is the cathedral like? Massive, beautiful, blessed by the goddess. Flame cannot strike it twice. Durance's eyes travel to his ashen staff, studying the etchings. Beneath, tunnels and chambers, bellows and fire pits, and many of the faithful, looking for a means to bring fire to the world. He turns his gaze from the staff to you. Guns, explosives, alchemy, all of these are our holy symbols, and we are eager to share. That staff of yours seems like your holy symbol.
This? In a way, this is more of what's left behind when flame strikes. If Ashfall is a cathedral propped up and fenced with such sticks, then this stick, well, this is what props me up as I walk the cathedral of my road, to other Ashfalls waiting to be made, perhaps.
Durance blinks as if in surprise, and then shrugs.
The wood is taken from the War of Black Trees. Sturdy. It served me well on my travels. Been a boon companion.
What are the etchings on your stuff? Oh, he cradles it, turning it with his hand. But yeah, what are the etchings? Do you have whale's eyes painted on your skin? There's more mysteries than questions, and even a marching force of answers won't placate you. Even soldiers need to let their thoughts settle, just as their priests do. Alright, let's continue on.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
To Caed. Alright. Kana. Who is Kana? Just off the side of the path into Caed stands an imposing figure. A tall, thick-set Amaur, clad in worn armor and peering up at the outer walls of the keep. In his hand is a small piece of charcoal, and it works feverishly at taking notes upon a small scrap of paper. More than once he has to reach up to prevent his colorful cap from falling off his head as he gazes upwards. That moldy brickwork must be fascinating. The man looks over at you, blinking in surprise. His face splits in a wide and very toothy grin, and he waves the parchment in greeting.
It is. Well, not the wall itself, perhaps. The construction is very traditional. There are names scratched upon some of the bricks, just there. Workers and masons, I expect, carving a little immortality for themselves. It's a fine keep, Caed. 2 centuries to its name, and abandoned for nearly as long.
He looks up at the wall again, expression fond.
But the truly interesting part is in there, and I haven't had much luck in reaching the keep itself. I hoped to find the master of this place, a man by the name of Merwald, but it seems that he either holds his privacy most dear, or else has been devoured by his house guests.
He points the piece of charcoal at the gates. Why haven't you gone inside? Well, it's just that there are a great many dangerous creatures between the keep and I. I did make an attempt, of course, and I was chased away by dark spirits. What do you want from Merwald?
Knowledge. Or, to be less clever about it, a certain text. I've come in search of a great treasure, you see. Not gold or silver, but the Tanvi Oratoa. You might call it the Book of Virtues. It's a sacred text of Rauatai, but we possess only a small fragment of it.
A year I've journeyed in search of the rest, and I found evidence suggesting that the original lies there, beneath the keep. I want to ask Merwald if he knows of it. And you, my friend? Why are you here? Yeah, I'll be honest. Apparently I'm something called a Watcher, and Merwald can tell me what that means.
A Watcher? You've spoken with spirits? There are many questions I would ask if I could do the same.
He looks at you with open curiosity. Well, perhaps we can help one another. The grounds are infested with all manner of beasts. I have never seen the like. I did not want to risk it alone, but you seem capable. Together, I am sure we could manage it, and then we can both ask our questions of Merwald. Yeah, alright, let's go meet Merwald then.
Excellent. Lead on, my friend, and I will be at your heels. Ah, wait. Speaking of that, I ought to warn you first. Wondrous teeth, I nearly forgot. I have, at times, been followed, It began in Adir, and in Exometal they attacked outright. I believe they do not wish for me to find what I am looking for. I say believe, but I have been told as much by one of my would-be assassins. I pay them little mind. Humorless swords and long robes. But it's why I bought the sword, you see. And it's only fair that you should know.
Yeah, well, what are a few assassins between friends, eh?
I'm glad you're not discouraged. Come then. Who knows what we will find inside?
Alright, let's go. So, we have Kana
Yes?
in our party. Kana is a level 1 chanter. He is an Islander Maor, a scholar from Rawatai. 16 might, 12 constitution, 9 dexterity, 14 perception, 18 intelligence, 10 resolve, 4 lore and 1 mechanics. And we get to level him up as well. We'll just dump his points into lore, I think. Oh, actually, we'll put 1 point into athletics and 1 into survival. But otherwise, we'll put them into lore. And we get to pick an invocation, so we've got But Rennie Darrett's Ghost, He Would Not Rest, which summons a phantom. We've got this one, which does -5 DR to enemies. This one does +5 DR for slash, plus 10 DR for shock, to friendlies in the AoE and to the caster. This one does crush damage to AoEs, foe AoE. It's not bad. That one does shock damage, and this one does crush damage, but more than that one. But you need to use it on a downed enemy. White worms writhed in the bellies of the dead. I think we'll go with this one to summon a phantom. And we now can pick a talent. I think we'll start with the chanter talent, Ancient Memory. Invokes a primal energy, causing allies within range to benefit from constant endurance regeneration while the chanter is chanting. Seems decent. And we'll put more into lore. And we get a phrase this time. So, dull the edge, blunt the point. Enemies will do -10% slash and pierce damage. Or enemies will have -10 concentration. Or come, soft winds of death. -2.4 endurance per 3 seconds. Seems useful. We'll get that one, I think. And I think this time we'll go with white worms writhed in the bellies of the dead. Or should we go with the thunder rolled like waves on black seas? Because this requires a downed enemy to use, but it's quite good. But no CC. Maybe we'll go with the thunder rolled like waves on black seas. Might be a bit more useful. And we'll grab Beloved Spirits, which improves the chanter's connection to the soul fragments they employ, increasing Ancient Memory's healing capability. So it'll heal even more endurance while he's chanting. Cool. Alright. And then, one thing I wanted to look at. So, Fortitude resists attacks. Poison, disease, etc. Yeah. Okay. Just thinking about what phrases will give his chants. So, chanters spend most of their time in combat speaking chants. Chants are arranged strings of magical phrases that produce different effects. As one phrase ends, its effects will linger, overlapping with the effects of the next phrase. When a chant reaches the end of the final phrase, it will loop back to the beginning. Careful arrangement of phrases can produce a powerful sequence of passive effects. Click on a chant to select it. Phrases clicked on the left panel will be added to the selected chant. If you wish to remove the phrase, click on the phrase in the chant. So right now we've got at the sight of their comrades, their hearts grew bold, +10 fortitude and will. And Blessed was Wengrid, quickest of his tribe, plus 1.2 move speed and reflex. And I think we'll take that out and we'll put Come Soft Winds of Death in. And he'll just rotate between those two. Because the plus 10 Fortitude and Will seems decent, and the Endurance Drain also seems decent. And he can chant March of the Kamoa, which is at this side, which is those two phrases that we picked. So, let's speak to Kana. Actually, let's speak to Aloth. You have nothing else to say. No. What about the dare?
What's on your mind?
No.
What?
Durance? No.
Following your lead.
Kana?
It's good to be on the road again. A wanderlust is nothing rare in the people of Rauatai, but often I think myself alone in loving the land as much as the sea. What shall we see next, I wonder?
Do you know anything about this place? Caed Nua is a marvel. An ugly, crumbling marvel, but even so. It's overshadowed by what it sits upon, but the keep itself can tell you much about the Adiran settlement. A very rigid people, I find. And what is this sacred book you're looking for?
The Tanvi Oratoa. It's not really a book. It's been passed down over the years in the form of a chant. I actually found it a little strange at first, seeing it set down in stone. It's not quite the same as a song of worship, though we have paeans to the gods as well. More a kind of moral guide. It gives us something to aspire to. The, model of a virtuous citizen of Rauatai.
Won't it have crumbled away by now?
Much of Ingwith's writing is lost to us, but an engraving would survive. I found several tablets at the site in Examitl. The scholar Gabranos, in particular, seems to have been fond of writing on the walls. I may have to ask you to help me carry it, if it's a large stone.
Right. Gabranos. Okay, interesting. Sounds boring.
You'll see a few children nodding off in the middle, I grant you. But the chant is not something taken lightly, and two factions vie for the king's ear. We've been spared the civil wars and petty conflicts of our neighbors thus far. I'd rather it stay that way.
Alright, well, describe this virtuous citizen for me, because I note your expression has grown a little somber.
Dutiful, learned, honest. The sticking point is loyal. Loyal to the people of Rauatai above all others. Fearless in their defense, and bold in aspiration. Tireless in battle or industry. An inspiration to one's people.
Kana shrugs a shoulder, his broad smile fading.
But it seems it's not that far a leap from there to the idea that we must cast out foreign influences.
Is that what you aspire to be?
Doesn't everyone want to be a good citizen?
Kana looks away. So you think the Ingwithans were the true authors of the what is it called? The Torah, Tanvi or Torah? Where is it? Tanvi Oratoa.
I don't know that the distinction is necessarily important. Rauatai has a long history, and our people have come from many different places. It matters less who wrote it than that I have found pieces of the verses all around the world. Wherever it came from, it will be Rauatai that decides what becomes of it. All the races and peoples of our kingdom coming together to create a great empire. You see, then, that I am loyal in my way.
Kana smiles sheepishly. Okay, well, why look for it out here?
There have been arguments as to the chant's true interpretation. New translations, even. But any rendition of it I find in the ruins of Engwith will predate those translations by 2,000 years. And finding it here also proves that we still have much to gain from trading with other cultures. I'd be lying if I said I'm not looking forward to seeing the look on everyone's faces when I get back. But in the long term, I just think that we can learn a lot from the Engwithians. A civilization like that is something to aspire to. A model for Rauatai as a whole, and not just its people.
That's an odd view considering the Anguithans aren't around anymore.
And I want to prove that all of this is worthwhile. Traveling, seeing the world for what it is. It's been so different from sitting in the Chanter Hall and studying books.
So let me get this straight. You essentially came all this way just to win an argument?
More or less. It wasn't a popular theory when I suggested it. The idea that we shared the Tanvi Oratoha with some older culture, doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't help that my family is from the Deadfire Islands. If I had a copper pot for every chanter who suggested that it's just not in my nature to conquer, my siblings, my parents, they make up for it. They build walls and cannons and ships. I've tried to explain. It isn't that I think those things aren't necessary, but if Rauatai closes itself off from trade, turns on its own people over tradition, we will fall behind. And then we'll be the ones getting conquered. I think my father tries to understand at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. You can't not engage in trade. You will fall behind for sure. Right, other questions. Ask all you like. A chanter's purpose lies in the telling of stories. Mostly true stories at that. So these people who are after you. Oh, them. Yes. I ran into them in Adir, or rather, they sought me out. In Adir there were many people who had observed the Anguithan ruins in the Deerwood, and I spent some time conferring with experts. In the libraries I found accounts of sites in Examatil, and it was there I travelled next. But just before that I found myself approached by a woman in dark robes, who bade me abandon my studies for my own safety. I ignored her, of course, but I began to have the sense, after that, of being followed. And after that, well, one ambush on the road I could call misfortune. But 3? You don't seem worried about this. They haven't had much luck. The last one came up on me at a dig site, and slipped on a muddy beam. I tried to catch him. Reflex, I should think. But he went right over the side, and down 100 feet. I'm not really sure what he had in mind, but I doubt that was it. Yeah, who are these people? I thought it only fair to delve into their activities in turn. I found word of a leaden key, but past that it was all ravings and superstitions. I might as well have gone around asking whether someone had ever seen a whale flying through the air. Some might well tell me yes, but the validity of their accounts is questionable. Okay, I had other questions. Ask all you like. So you're being hunted by the leaden key? So it seems. It's all rather absurd. What harm could I possibly do them by finding this text? Perhaps they don't like Rauatai. How did this all begin? I ran into them in Adir, or... Okay, you've said this, Kana, come on. Alright, I had other questions. How are you holding up? I'm ready if you are. Kana grins. Okay, why don't you tell me about yourself?
What shall I tell? I am Kanarua, born in the royal city of Tekoa, from which rules the Ranganui. There. That is a solemn enough start. I am a lore chanter in the college there. Or at least a student of lore, and a chanter both.
He grins brightly. The accent's right, but you don't look like you're from Rauatai. Do I not? He grins crookedly. I take your meaning. My family is from the Deadfire Archipelago, but I've never seen the islands. My parents traveled to Rauatai many years before I was born. They found more opportunity in Rauatai. My mother took to crafting cannons, aspiring pirate that she is, and my father's work with coral caught the eye of someone important, and then the Ranganui himself. The rest followed. What made you leave... What's a Ranganui, actually? A king. Our great king. Ruler over all of Rauatai. He's led our people well, and he has treated my family very well. My father and he are great friends, as much as one can be friends with a king. And what is this gate of great teeth? Much as it sounds. a maze of walls, like the teeth of some nautical terror. It sits outside the city, and guards Tekoa from invaders and storms. The storms have always been more trouble. Nuitanri, the angry titans, throwing themselves against Rauatai's shores. Invaders, I'm not so sure about, but perhaps I'm like the man who, being dry, throws off his rain cloak during a storm. Kana laughs. So my mother would have me believe. What would you like to know? Tell me about the law chanters. My eldest brother thinks we spend our days in song, weaving wreaths from flowers, but the truth is far less exciting than that. The college preserves what knowledge our people have gathered. I would have it said that the law chanters are Rauatai, for without them we would have no beginning, no sense of how far we've come. We would forget ourselves with every generation. Okay, so you're kind of historians then. I'm only a student, yet, but someday I'll return and tell the keeper what I learned, and she will add my verses to the chant. And what made you leave the college?
I was on the usual path at first. Theology, the traditions, when the Gate of Great Teeth was completed. It was all my father had hoped for. The greatest commission he had ever received. But it was also a sign that Rauatai was changing, looking inward. Meanwhile, I was neck-deep in the writing of a dozen nations, marveling at all the things that lay beyond our borders.
And in so many of those books and records, I found accounts of ancient Engwith. The Adirans hold a great hunger for Engwithan relics, and why shouldn't they? It was the civilization from which the Glanfathans learned to read souls. I decided that my third degree would be in history, and that I would study the Engwithans. They were at the heart of so much discussion abroad, so many discoveries. It drew some mockery. We'd watched the deer draw itself into several conflicts with the Glanfathans over these ruins. Tekoa had its own concerns. And soon I found it, a section of the Tanvi Oratoa, in an Adiran translation of ancient Engwithan script, just there, without explanation. It seemed like a gift from the gods. I had other questions. I think I've already asked you all about yourself, so tell me about Rauatai.
Ah, Rauatai. Shall I describe the pearl-white sands, the sapphire waters, the multi-hued tiles of the rooftops, like a mosaic upon the coast? Sorry.
Was there something specific you wanted to know? Do only Amawa live there? Far from it. The Amawa arrived more recently, and form the greater number, but others have joined us, so long as they call themselves subjects of the Ranganui. Some of my neighbors are Orlans, for instance. Fine people, though they care little for the sea. People here say that the coastal Amawa are a cruel people. Cruel in the same manner that Orlans are feral and the Pale Elves graceful, yes? Kana chuckles. Amawa conquered Rauatai long ago, and drove their enemies from those lands in the doing of it. Today the great kingdom of Rauatai holds humans, Orlans, elves, even island Amawa. Kana flashes a quick smile. What a campaign of conquest says about those responsible, you'll have to ask the Adirans. In any case, yes, the reputation persists. Good if you want fighting work, less so if you would like to be a cook. Tell me about the Kingdom of Rauatai in general. It's a long journey by ship to the north, past Ixamatil and across the sea. We have settled much of the Gulf, and established more recent trading colonies all along the coast. We live as best we can, like anyone else. Our land is plagued by storms, and so we stand together, whatever corner of Rauatai we hail from. Otherwise we'd never survive. And tell me about the city you're from, Tekoa.
Tekoa is doubly famed, a royal city and home to the Coral Harbor. The Ranganui's palace is there, and we've a fleet of royal ships sitting outside the Gate of Great Teeth. Every so often, you'll hear the roar of a cannon being tested.
The finest ships in Rauatai, and so the world, are anchored there, and some of our brightest minds toil away at the artillery. My mother, for instance. Kana grins brightly. Myself, I have no talent with gunpowder. Tekoa is also home to the Law College, of course, and we get a great many people traveling long distances to speak with the Lawkeeper, or else hear the chants and peruse the books. At least, that is how it was when I was younger. Things were a little different when I left. Surely Valian ships are the finest. The grandest, sure. Houses on the water, Kana laughs. Give me a sleek Rawatai ketch, heavy with cannons, and I'll still run circles around your Valian carracks. Tekoa has a lot of this artillery? Rawatai has a lot of artillery. We've made great advances with explosives. One of our artillery masters advised on the Godhammer bomb during the Saints' War, actually. In Rawatai itself, our efforts are more modest. Bombards, cannons. We're having some luck with mortars. You might ask my sister, if you ever visit Tekoa. She captains the Ratuana. She knows far more than I do, and enjoys great fame for it. It may not be very traditional, but even the most strident demagogue won't touch the subject of artillery. They'd lose what support they've gathered.
Tekoa is...
Do you have anything else to say about Tekoa? Things were a little different when I left. Yeah, how are they different? You might say the winds are changing. The Pahari, they are traditionalists, in a way. The Ranganui sun stands among their number. Talk at the dinner table has changed from how far a fleet Rawatai ship might sail to how well defended our borders are. How far we have turned from the old ways. Then talk turns to barring Adiran and Valian merchant ships, and, Kana sighs, things were difficult when I left. There was much arguing among the elders. I trust the king has kept the peace, but I worry sometimes that things have taken a turn for the worse. Well, it is sensible to look to your people's own best interests. Of course, but I can't help but wonder if this is in our best interest. If we isolate ourselves from every other land, what do we sacrifice in exchange for a momentary safety? But that's Rawatai's lesson to learn. Perhaps I was foolish to think I could change its course on its behalf.
Yes? Yes, my friend?
You didn't have anything else to say?
Tekoa is...
Yeah. Okay, well, in any event, it sounds like you miss home. Some parts of it. Those silver cliffs, the sea, those at least no one can change. The day I boarded the ship for Adir, the sunrise was gold upon the water, and I nearly leapt overboard and swam for home. Alright. Well, let's be on our way. That was useful, though. Nice to learn more about Kana.
Keeping quiet.
But let's explore Cardnua now. And try to clear out the enemies that Kana was referring to. The spirits that drove him away. No hidden loot anywhere.
Looks like
Nice
this place has
and
been
quiet.
abandoned for years.
Yeah. So it does. Okay, we've got a phantom and shadow up. Oh, jeez, that didn't mean to start combat there. That's all right. Let's get that buff on us.
Yes?
Oh, that's a lot. Actually, can I charm that one, shoot that one?
Aye?
Why I didn't disengage, I didn't think. Oh, no, 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 you run. Okay. Let's do that. My charm didn't work, unfortunately. That's annoying.
Just get quieter.
Alright, I think we need to retry this one. Let's load that quick save. I didn't mean to stumble into them like that as well. I was hoping to read the bestiary first about the best way to kill phantoms and shadows.
Following your lead.
So I've done all
Yes, my friend.
of that. Yep, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Alright, let's head this way quickly. There was no hidden loot, so we'll just run up here and grab those. One shattered cask still smells faintly of ale, long spilled into the dirt. Alright, let's head back down here. So we should check down this way too.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark.
Alright, that's as far as we can go. Okay, so we've got to go through.
Old and dry with cobwebs in every crack. It reminds me of Woodica.
Alright. So, I wanted to look at the bestiary and shadows, phantoms, shades, and shadows. So shades are actually the most powerful. So it's shadow, phantom, and then shades. So shadows, they do freeze damage. They've got 62 deflection, and they're weak to burn, and we want to avoid freeze and shock. So everything else we can hit them with, but burn damage is particularly good. Shades are, I think, the same, but they're more resistant to freeze and shock. Phantoms, also pretty much the same. Phantoms are souls that did not properly separate from the body after death. This usually happens as a result of severe trauma, particularly in the case of a violent death. Unlike lost souls, which are incapable of interacting with or being detected by normal mortals, phantoms, like shadows in Kengular, maintain a connection to the physical world. They will attack other life forms without discrimination. Phantoms can also manifest from kith who live particularly chaotic lives, including violent criminals and the insane. Anyone can become a phantom under the right circumstances, but the fear of phantoms and their association with the mentally ill can result in vulnerable populations being shunned across many communities. And it doesn't tell us what their abilities are, unfortunately. These guys are just immune to poison, disease, ground. Stuck, hobbled, sickened. I'll read some of these another time. Now, and there were wisps as well. Wisps. So they have no damage resistance, and I don't know what their abilities are. Some of the abilities looked like it was like stuns or confusion, so I'm wondering if we have anything that can increase our defenses against that. Penalty to accuracy is alright. Increasing concentration and will. Is there one that makes us immune to stuns? No. Yeah, okay. What does this one do? Nothing.
Following your lead.
Nothing that makes us immune
Aye?
to stun. So I guess the best we could do is use Holy Meditation.
Huh?
It's probably the best we can do.
Steady does it.
Alright, let's try to put Kana ahead though.
What?
Hey.
Okay. We'll get us to attack that. I'll still use that to increase damage resistance. Actually, should I use... maybe I'll use... let's use that first, perhaps.
Following your lead.
And now let's use that one. So what is that effect on Adair? Confused and stunned. Ah, confused. Okay. I don't know. I don't think I've got anything that can get rid of confused. Switch to the S-Stock. Oh, damn it, that knocked us out.
Aye?
No, that is not going well at all. Maybe we'll come back to that mob. Try go around them.
Sure.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, there's a shadow there. I need to edit our formation actually. Put Kana in front of Durance.
Great.
Okay, let's try this group. Oh shit. I should stick there. There we go. Alright, and let's see if we can charm that one. Looks like my charm did not work. Yeah, Mrs. Phantom. That's a shame. Alright, well let's try and shoot fire at them. Nice, that worked out quite well. Let's take the spirit residue.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
What's this? One side of this pillar is graven with hundreds of whorls and ridges. Even under a layer of grime and moss, the Ardra gleams. Okay, and we've got a will-o-wisp up here. Just
Let's
one,
go.
by the looks of it. Yeah, so the will-o-wisps are what are doing that confused effect on Adair, which is most frustrating. Oh, and they knocked me out. God damn it. Alright, let's try that again. That was a bit of a fail. Just one wisp. Alright. So let's go here.
Pray.
I don't know if there's anything we can do to disable the wisps. I think we just nuked it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that went okay, that second attempt. Lizard skins, knuckle bones, and teeth of various sizes lie among the weeds. Tangled wires and broken gears litter these wooden boxes. Okay, so there's a wisp and a shadow there. Potentially use this to choke, to act as a choke point. Let's try that. Okay.
Aye?
Let's get him to attack the... Actually, let's maybe all of us attack the wisp.
How may I help?
Just wondering, mind blades, slashing damage. Maybe that's worthwhile using in this instance. I think because they confused Adair, I don't think my fire hit as much as it probably should have. Let's use that one. And maybe we'll use... Yeah, we need to take some of these out. And there goes... There I go.
Thank Worth and rock!
Aloth. Let's try hit them. Give that a... Oh, he's stunned. Okay, he might go down. close, but because Adair got confused, our front line broke. Wondering if it's worthwhile maybe trying to put Kana on the front line as well.
Sure.
Like if we put Kana there, maybe put Durance there.
Yes?
Shoot the wisp.
What?
And maybe let's use this one first. They confused them already. Jeez. So what is the confused attack? It attacks will, right? Doesn't it? The confused affliction. Yeah, but what is it? Maybe I have to go to this one. Confused. Yeah, but what does it attack? Is it a mental thing, right? So it's a will effect. It doesn't say. I think it is though. Yeah, I think it is a... I think it's a will attack. Let's try then. Maybe if we give Adair that cloak that increases his will stat. Because right now he's got reflex and a healing bonus, but if we instead give him the cloak of the Aethosian priest... Let's try that, because that'll bring his how do I see his will stat? There it is. Bring his will up to 46, which is still quite low. I don't have anything else I can give him though that boosts resolve. Maybe there's some food I can give him. Let's see. That's DR, that's Constitution. No, nothing there. Alright, we'll give it a try with this. Maybe that will make a slight difference.
Sure.
Put Adair there.
Huh?
Put me there.
Following your lead.
Put Kana there.
What?
Durance there.
Yes?
Aloth there. You know what, maybe I should make that the new party formation. Alright. Let's try that. Okay. Alright. Endurance. Let's use that. Gives a good amount of will.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice. I think I just killed the shadow in one shot. 44 pierce damage. Very good. Alright, endurance. Let's use our blessing now.
How may I?
Ah, it's still... it's still bloody... got stunned and confused. It's annoying.
Following your lead.
Wisp. Alright, switch to your S stock there.
Following your...
Okay. Let's use that. Ooh, that hit hard.
Yes.
I got knocked out. Endurance. Whack that phantom. Aloth. Whack the shadow, I guess. Maybe do that.
Okay.
Aloth is very low on health.
How may I help?
Or endurance. Ah, he got confused. Did he get confused? Alright. That didn't go so bad. Yeah, bloody those wisps, man.
Aye?
They're very annoying with their confusing nonsense. Alright,
Indeed.
at least we survived. Tangled wires and broken gears litter these wooden boxes. Oh, another wisp up there. Frayed lengths of rope and a few flint chips are scattered across this workbench. Is it just a wisp, or is there... I think it's just a wisp.
Let's go.
Let's kill it.
Yeah.
Only weeds grow in this dusty patch.
Keeping an eye out.
Lizard skins, knuckle bones, and teeth of various sizes lie among the weeds. Okay, we've got a shadow here. Phantom. Small earth blight. Alright. No wisps by the looks of it, so that's alright. Oh no, one wisp. Fantastic. Can charm the Phantom. Nice. Can't believe that worked. What I really want to do is flame them all. Crap. I can't charm anything else. No, you hit that. A dare. Oh, I haven't select him yet. Actually, I should hit that one.
Come on, not like this.
Damn, that's knocked me out for the count. The Phantom.
What?
Man, it keeps missing.
Following your lead.
Just keep quiet.
No, that didn't go well. I think we probably need to increase our accuracy. I don't think we're doing enough damage. I think add the damage reduction thing from endurance or the accuracy and damage increase.
I'll see what I can find.
We go up here actually and come this way. Okay, that's fine. Alright, let's try... Yeah, let's try increase our accuracy and damage.
Brave.
Actually, hit the wisp. I hate those things. It is almost dead though. Alright, let's do that next.
Stand still.
Cool.
What?
Ooh, he's low on health.
What?
Shadow, I suppose.
Get your blood!
Got knocked out. Sorry, I think we've got it this time.
Ready to sleep.
Still knocked me out though.
Hey.
Primal Rock, a chiseled portion of rock, slate grey and pocked with gleaming minerals. When set on the ground, it floats a small distance above the earth. The hedges grow in shaggy heaps, shot through with weeds and tall grasses. Looks like there's a manor here, some kind of townhouse. Another will-o-wisp over there. Alright, let's see if we can take it out, and then we might pack it in there.
Brave.
Yeah, cool. Just the one.
Nice and quiet.
Leave our village! We've done nothing to you!
What is this? Villager.
You can't do this!
Spectral smoke churns all around you. At first you can see nothing except the haze, but gradually you make out the wizened, hunched shape of an old elven man. His face and bone-thin arms are smeared with paint. You can't do this, he shakes his head, spitting the words at you. Do what?
This is our village! Our home! The Nine Claws have lived here almost 50 generations. We were here long before your kind brought war to our lands. You can't just burn it all!
You can't tell whether he's squinting through the smoke or scowling at you. He shudders with a cough.
Have mercy, soldier! Our warriors have all gone! You can't burn us all because of them!
After a pause, he draws back and gapes at you in horror, seemingly in response to something you didn't actually say, but illusory tongues of flame flicker at the corners of your vision. He coughs. He reaches out to you and opens his mouth to say something, but all that emerges is a series of violent coughs. He falls to his knees, choking on the thickening smoke. Flames overtake the vision as you back away. Peculiar. Shh. I'll avoid those flame blights down there. I think we've explored everything up this way. So it's just down there that we have to check out and clear. We'll definitely need to rest though.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
Yeah, we'll need to rest. Alright, well, we might leave it there for now, and we'll continue this next time. But thank you for joining me. If you're enjoying the campaign, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.